I'm an excessive person, especially when it comes to books. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sneha and I talk about books. Today's video is going to be a book tag video, specifically the mid-year book freakout tag. It's basically a book tag which people do at the at the middle of every year, talking about the books that they've read and the plans that they have for reading for the upcoming half of the year and stuff like that. Right now it is June 20th, so it's a little over the the middle point of 2021, but yeah, why not? I can't believe that it's June and very soon it's going to be July. 2021 has not been as anticipated by me and by a lot of people, I'm sure. But yeah, it's been a good reading year, I would say, for me. So let me recap on how it's been. First question of the tag is the best books that you've read in 2021. Now, I have 4 books under this question and all of them are not new releases, but they're definitely amazing reads and I would recommend them like 1,000 times over. So let's get to it. The first book is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I read this only a couple of weeks ago and I know that this book is so popular across the book community, Bookstagram, Booktube, whatever, and everybody loves it, and I thought I wouldn't be a little disappointed by it, but I was not. It is completely worthy of everybody's praise. This is a retelling of the Achilles myth of the Greek mythology of set around the Trojan War, and it tells Achilles' story from the point of view of Patroclus, who is his longtime friend, companion, whatever. I am a complete newbie to Greek mythology, but the author does such an amazing job at explaining the myth and explaining the context of the myth, which is so important because in the Greek mythology, heroism and heroes are so revered. The author explains why some points of the plot are what they are. So I loved it. It is a queer themed book, so it will fit in with the theme of Pride Month. Happy Pride Month for whoever's watching. But read queer books apart from just in June. That's just a general guideline I anyway follow in life. So yeah. The next book is The Queen of Jasmine Country by Sharanya Manivannan. This is an Indian fiction book. So I say fiction, but it's fictionalized tale of a real life figure, Andal, who is a 12th century poet saint. She's a devotee of Lord Vishnu, and she belongs to a class of such poet saints called the Alvars, and she's the only female Alvar. So she is a feminist icon, and she is a icon in general across Tamil Nadu and South India. This takes a look at Andal's life before she became an Alvar. So basically her childhood, how she was brought up, and when she hits marriageable age, when she sees all these girls around who get married at a very young age, and they get married to people who are not the best of men, and she wonders why she should settle for these men. So she wants to wait for someone as magnificent and as wonderful as her god, which is Lord Vishnu. And so it's a very refreshing take on such a larger than life figure. It would be very easy to make her just devotional, make her a revered figure and leave it at that, but I loved how the author humanized her as a young woman. She wants to explore beyond her small town. She wants to explore her desires. She wants to she's lusting after her god almost. So it's amazing. It's an amazing take. I loved this book. It's a very short read as well, so anybody can easily get into it, and I highly recommend this. Next best book for me is Homegoing by Yad Gyasi. I read this at the beginning of the year, and again a book which has been highly appreciated on the Booktube, Bookstagram community, and I agree with them once again. So this is about 2 sisters, Effia and Essie. Both of them are born in Ghana, but they're born in completely different circumstances. They're half sisters basically. One's born to a slave trader and one's born into slavery. And it's about it explores how that impacts over generations as their descendants live their own life, and they live out the history of Ghana and America and a lot of other countries, and how post-colonialism and racism and all these themes changed over centuries and how much they affected marginalized people like the Black community. So it's an amazing intergenerational tale. So each chapter is kind of devoted to a different character. So in that way, it's not like a very easy flowing plot. I would think that some people will get confused and will get bored of the plot, but I really love such intergenerational tales where you get to look at so many different characters and you get to look at so many different circumstances of these characters. So yeah, a 5 on 5 read for me again. Last book is Hunger, a Memoir of My Body by Roxane Gay. Yes, I've read like 2 non-fiction books in the entire year, and both of them are amazing, but Hunger for me is so much more than just a non-fiction book. It's a memoir of Roxane Gay who talks about her sexual trauma, her rape at a very young age, and how it impacted her over many years, her relationship with her body, her relationship with her food life. She talks about how she viewed food as a defense mechanism, how she kind of wanted to make her body into a fortress so she never has to go through that trauma again. So but now she wants to take back her narrative. She wants to take back control of her life, and she wants to work towards a better herself. So this is her journey of her coming out with her story. I could relate to being a woman not fitting into this societal definitions of beautiful or conventional beauty, and you know, everybody must have felt that way in their life. It's an amazing book. Highly recommend it. It's a very revered book anyway, so do check it out. Second question is best sequel that you've read in 2021. I went through my entire list of books that I've read in 2021 and not even one of them is a sequel. Like, I don't read a lot of series, I don't read a lot of fantasy. I have no sequel. I don't read series. Next question is new releases which you haven't read yet but you want to read in 2021. I have 2 books in this. The first one is Whereabouts by Jhumpa Lahiri. Jhumpa Lahiri is a very famous Indian author, but in recent years she has gone to live in Italy. She's learned the entire language and now she writes pretty much exclusively just in Italian. So this is an Italian work of her which has been translated into English just in 2021, and I bought it and I want to read it. I would love to go back to Jhumpa Lahiri's words. The Namesake is one of my most favorite book of all time. The Interpreter of Maladies is an amazing short story collection, so I want to read Whereabouts. I don't know too much about it, and honestly these days with new books I want to go in blind. I don't really spend a lot of time in researching, so that's how I'm going to keep this one as well. The next book which I want to read is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and which is the other one, Daisy Jones and the Six, and absolutely loved them like the rest of the world. Particularly Daisy Jones and the Six I read in audiobook format, and that book is just the best audiobook to listen to because it's the entire dialogue is in the form of interview anyway, so different characters read out different voices and it's just an amazing audiobook. So really looking forward to Malibu Rising. I don't know too much about it. I think it's Hollywood in the 60s or something like that, but yeah, looking forward to it as well. The next question is and what is an anticipated release that you're waiting for in the second half of 2021? I went through several lists, book lists of things which are to release in July to December 2021, and nothing caught my eye. I did say I was on a book ban, but I broke it very recently. A book haul is coming very soon next on my channel, but yeah, because of that I'm going to concentrate on finishing those books before even trying to buy anything which is released in the second half of the year. So I would have to say my answer for this is also none. The next question is biggest disappointment of the year, and for me it is Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. Just this weekend I posted a vlog about me reading this. You can check it out, it will be linked up and down below. Go ahead. I picked this up because I read Never Let Me Go last year and I absolutely enjoyed that, and I hoped this would be a similar experience, but sadly it was not. This is a dystopian science fiction book about robots and their integration into human life. I talk very much in detail about this book in that vlog, so if you're interested, please go check it out. But yeah, I was thoroughly disappointed with this next question. This biggest surprise of the year, and for this I have Eileen by Ottessa Moshfegh. another reading vlog of this as I read this book, so please check it up and down below if you're interested. But Eileen was a library book that I borrowed completely on a whim, picked it up completely on a whim, and went into it blind, and I was so hooked. It is about the story of this woman who is living in this small town and she yearns to get out of the town. So she's a very off-center, grey-ish character, and because of that I didn't expect too much from the book. But then there's one plot twist towards the end of the book which completely blew me away, and I was reading it right when I was a big slump because COVID-19 cases were on a steep increase in India at that point of time, and I was feeling very low and I was feeling very tense and anxious and all that, and I was in the biggest reading slump of this year, and this book put me out of it. And how, like, after that I started reading so much more. The next question is favorite new author of 2021. It could be a debut author or just an author who's new to you. I have 3 here, and all of them are not debut authors. All of them are just new authors to me, but I would 100% highly recommend or go back to reading them. So the first one is Otesha Moshfegh. I just explained why I loved Eileen, and I want to read all her works now and just get more of her writing. So absolutely 100% going back for Otesha Moshfegh. Another name in this list for me is Elena Ferrante. I read, what is it, My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante, which is book 1 of a Neapolitan quartet, and I really enjoyed that book. Again, didn't expect to like it as much, but a lot of the themes that were left open-ended towards the end of that first book, I want to explore in the upcoming books in the quartet and read more of her recent works as well. So yeah. And finally, Colleen Hoover. I think sometimes I go into this loop of just reading really serious books, and that unconsciously puts like a toll on me. I picked up Colleen Hoover's, which one is it? I forgot the title, but I'll put it up here. And I enjoyed it so much, and it put me out of a slump again. It got me reading. So I think every now and then I'll go and pick up a Colleen Hoover book just to lighten things up and read, you know, just a normal book. I know she explores very heavy themes in that book as well, but they're more heavy in terms of a personal character. It's not heavy in terms of like a social or a religious construct. So for that I want to go back and read Colleen Hoover. So next question is a new fictional crush in 2021. I don't really crush on my characters that I read in books because, again, I don't really tend to read a lot of romances or a lot of, you know, light frothy books. I tend to read like literary fiction, contemporary books which give me pause and which give me cause to think. So I don't have a fictional crush for you, I'm sorry. I don't read such kind of books. So I really tried hard to find one, but I don't have one. The next question is your new favorite character, and one sec. Jane Eyre. I talked about this, I don't know, in a couple of videos I think, but I read Jane Eyre this year and I absolutely fell in love with the book, and more importantly with the character. She is just someone who I think is so far ahead of her times, and she's so refreshing in terms of, like, you know, heroines. She's strong in her morals, in her beliefs, in her ideals, and she refuses to be swayed. And I don't know, I just really took to this book and I really enjoyed Jane Eyre. So Jane Eyre is my new favorite bookish heroine. The next question is a book which made you cry. And I don't really tend to cry a lot in books. I don't know, I just don't tend to cry a lot in books. I cry a lot in like life. I cry in movies and I cry in TV shows. I cry very easily in general life things, but I don't know why books just don't make me cry as much as other sort of mediums do. So I just have one book, and I didn't like bawl in this, I just like lightly teared up, but it counts, I think, in my opinion, because that's the most you're going to get of me. And the book I'm talking about is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. So this is the story. This is again a pride related book. It's a queer related book, so definitely recommend it for Pride Month. But it's basically about this. It's set in this world where there are magical human beings amongst us, and there are children with magical powers. So there is a department in the government which is responsible for making sure that these children are taken care of in these orphanages and they adjust easily to human life you know, after when they're adults. So it's about this one inspector of this government chapter and how he goes to this house, this house full of such magical human beings, and how his perspective on life and his perspective on love, everything changes over there. So absolutely adorable, cute book. The next question is a book which made you very happy, and I have The Queen of Jasmine Country by Sharanya Manivanan. I just said I talked about this book early on in this video, and the reason it made me really happy is because just the portrayal of Andal in this entire book is just so beautiful and it's so refreshing, and made me very happy that people are writing such books, and I want that treatment to continue in Indian mythology fiction. So yeah. Next question is a beautiful book which you've purchased in this year. The first book is Shalimar the Clown by Salman Rushdie. I recently bought this. I want to make a book haul very soon, so do check it out. But just look at this edition. I find it so beautiful. This is a vintage edition, and it's just, the cover is beautiful and it's the most gorgeous pink, and yeah, looking forward to reading this. I do want to get to it very soon. I've never read a Salman Rushdie, and I know that is a very grave sin in an Indian reader's mind, and I want to remedy that, and I will absolutely remedy that very, very, very soon. The other beautiful book which I bought is The Master and the Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov. I bought this second hand in the Fort book market. I'll link the video up and down below. Do check it out. And it's just the most beautiful copy. It is a vintage magic collection, and I love it. And again, a book that I do want to get to. I bought a lot of Russian classics because I read Crime and Punishment and absolutely loved it last year, and I thought I'll get more into Russian fiction. I have not picked up another Russian fiction since finishing Crime and Punishment, but I will very soon. Very, very, very soon. The other book which I absolutely in love with is The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. This is a Penguin Deluxe edition, and I recently bought this. It has decal edges, if you can see, and it has the most beautiful cover. I mean, isn't that just gorgeous? The back cover is just as good. And yeah, I have two books in this edition. I also have which one? Frankenstein, but I'll show you that in a different video maybe. But absolutely love this. I love collecting beautiful classics editions, and I want to make a video about that soon. But yeah, the books to be read by the end of the year, and I have 4 books in this. All of them are backlist books, by the way. None of them are new books of 2021, but I need to get started on them ASAP. The first one is War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. Am I being ambitious? Absolutely. Am I going to regret being ambitious? I think somewhere in the journey of reading this tome, absolutely. But will I absolutely love it? I hope so. So yeah, I am scared to start this, very honestly. Like I just said, I read Crime and Punishment last year, loved it, proceeded to buy a lot of Russian fiction, haven't gotten around to it. This one is was next on my list after finishing Crime and Punishment, but just look at this. The size of this is not a joke. It is some 1400 pages, and the absolute worst part about this particular edition is just the print. Like, can you see that? I mean, I know I'm going to go blind if I want to read this edition. I am thinking whether to buy another edition and just get rid of this one. I bought this from Bookchore. It was a second-hand one, so it wasn't really expensive on my pocket. But oh man, this font is absolutely ridiculous. Like, what is this? Like 9-point font? So yeah, anyway, I do hope to read War and Peace sometime this year. Let's hope that happens. Next book that I absolutely have to get to this year is The Seven Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. I've heard so much about this book. Everybody and their parents absolutely love this, and I hope I'll absolutely love this. In anticipation that I love this work of this author, I bought another book of the same author, and I better like this. That's all I'm saying. And yeah, I hope it lives up to the expectations. Next book is Truman Capote's in Cold Blood. I've been wanting to get to this for a while. I read Breakfast at Tiffany's last year, absolutely adored it, and I want to read this book because this case is just so interesting in my opinion, and I am drawn to it. So yeah. The last book is Amitav Ghosh, River of Smoke. I read book 1 of the Abyss trilogy, which is Sea of Poppies, last year. Actually, not last year. I read it in 2019. I haven't gotten back to the trilogy. And Amitav Ghosh is one of my absolute favorite authors on this planet. I think I've mentioned him in multiple videos already. So I need to get on moving with this trilogy, get back to it, and yeah. So yeah, that's the end of this book tag. I hope you enjoyed it. It's been a fun video to film, reminiscing about the year that has been reading wise, and hoping and making best laid plans for the rest of the year. But you know what they say about best laid plans, and also best laid plans in a pandemic is really not the best way to go. But let's hope things work out reading wise in my way. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to know how your year has been reading wise. How have you fared with these books or any other books? And I hope you like watching it. Do like, share, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.